So Petr, back to your playing career. Can you just tell us about the first time you played in goal? How did that come about? Because surely nobody wants to be a goalkeeper, right?
Well, I wanted to be a goalkeeper, but in ice hockey. So this was my first sport. I used to play ice hockey, I used to play football, and then somehow I was always attracted to the goal. But in football, when I started playing, I actually played on like a left wing or midfielder. And when I was 8, we actually had a game where our goalkeeper didn't come. So we had a second goalkeeper, and he didn't turn up either. So somebody had to play in goal. And as I used to try it in that smaller goal, I just said, okay, I'll do it for one game. I go and try just to see what's the difference. And we lost the game, but I did really well, apparently. So the next day I came for training. One of the coaches wanted me to continue being goalkeeper. The other one wanted me to play. So they were arguing a little bit about it, and in the end they made a compromise. So for the next 2 years I would play some games in goal, and I would play some games in midfield, just depending on the games. And when I was 10, I broke my leg, so I had the plaster for 4 months, or maybe even more. So I couldn't run. But you can still sit, you can lie, you can catch the ball, you can train. So I was literally training with the cast on handling and all these little things, which in the end decided that I will be a goalkeeper.
That's an amazing story, like to start playing midfield and then ended up in goal because of an injury.
Well then, I wanted to go back playing and doing both because I enjoyed it, but in the end, when you run and after 30 minutes your leg is hurting that much that you can't run anymore, then in the end you realize that there's no point of doing this, and I really enjoyed the challenge of being goalkeeper, so the decision was made there.
So that's obviously at quite a young age you started playing in goal, presumably with no idea that you'd go on to be a professional goalkeeper. At what stage in your life did you think this might be my career and being a footballer might be what I do for the rest of my life?
Well, I get the first call for the national team when I was 15. Literally 14, and then this is where I realized that if I do well and stay in that team, you go through the categories. You go under 15, 16, 17, 18, 21s and 20s, 21s at that time. So this was my kind of target. I was saying, okay, as long as I stay in this national team, I'll have a chance to do it. So I think then I set myself the target to do anything I can to stay there and to have a chance to progress, and in the end everything went the way I wanted, and at that point you never know if you ever make it as a professional, because here in England you have 4 professional leagues, which if you don't make it for the Premier League you still have 3 other professional leagues, plus the conference teams, and some of them are semi-professional, so you have plenty of chances how to make it. But in Czech Republic, playing the second division as a profession is not really a good idea, because you might earn more money working in a normal job. And even the first Czech league, obviously, comparing the possibilities over here are different. So you need to really make sure that you manage to get to a good team to have a good career.
So you actually you made your league debut at just 17, which is very young for a goalkeeper. Did you feel a lot of pressure making the debut at 17, or is it in fact a benefit, you don't know any pressure?
I was actually happy that I had this chance to do it at the age of 17, because usually everybody says the goalkeeper needs to be older to have any more experience to start, but the coaching staff had the trust and faith with me, and they put me in the goal, and then I paid back.
How do you feel the game has changed physically and mentally since you made your debut? Is it a very different skill set for a goalkeeper now?
Well, everything's faster. The evolution of the materials, the products, boots, gloves, balls, and everything is kind of made up to see more precision, stronger shots and more precise shots. So need to obviously have the way in training. You need to kind of find a way to adapt, to work on your reflexes and sharpness, and obviously even the way the game is played is different now, because even the players are faster, are trained a certain way that they can actually do things better than 10 years ago, and you need to keep up with it.
Obviously got a lot of young goalkeepers in the room this afternoon. If you were going to suggest one area of their game to work on, what would you recommend is the most important attribute for a young goalkeeper?
Well, the most important is your head, because your head actually tells your body what to do, and it can change when you feel the pressure. Or sometimes it's very discouraging for the young goalkeepers to concede goals, but you have to realize that the goals are part of the game, and that sometimes you can't save the ball. So obviously try to avoid having that feeling of I made a mistake for the goal, but sometimes you have to accept that the player did something which was special and he scored and beat you. So the only thing is you take it as a challenge and you say, okay, next time you don't do it. So that's the only thing you can do, and you have to accept that that's a part of the game, and not to get too disappointed and or kind of put off by this because it's the nature of the game.
So you've just started your 12th Premier League season now. Does each pre-season get tougher and tougher for you, and how do you motivate yourself going to the beginning of a new year?
Well, my motivation is the cup at the end of the season. So when I know that if I'm not ready and if I don't work hard during the pre-season, that I might not have a chance to have the cup. So that's the everyday motivation, and as well, it's that everyday willingness to improve, or at least not to get worse. So this every day, I love doing things 100%. So this is what I do every day.
And it's your second season with Arsenal. I've got a question. Do you feel settled into that team now? Now you're in the second season. Is the first season a challenge for you when you're adapting to a new defence and a new stadium and a new manager?
I think everybody has helped me ever since I came to the club, and obviously the advantage I had that I've known Arsenal as an opponent, so I basically had known every player different way, and the way the Premier League is played, the opposition team. So my transition was not as it was challenging, but it was not as hard as if you come from a different league, completely different environment and different club. So this was and obviously all my teammates and people at the club made me feel a part of the club straight away, so it was a big help.
Now we had Santi Cazorla in store a few weeks ago, and he told us that your initiation was the best initiation he's ever seen in football. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I can't sing, so my idea was to avoid singing. So I kind of invented a rap song based on what I've seen in the room. So I was just walking between. We did it during the dinner where people were sitting by the table. So I was just kind of going, table by table, and whatever came to my mind, with the rhymes and a bit of funny lyrics. I just went through and did it. So everybody liked it, so it was good, and I'd actually saved them from listening to my singing.
So this season's Premier League is looking tougher than ever. You've got managerial additions and player additions. When you see the ability of the league increasing, does that again inspire you and motivate you to just be stronger and better every year?
Well, this league gets tougher and tougher every year, and it's not, the top teams try to maintain, their strength and attract the players and improve the squads. But the biggest difference are the teams which and finished this last season maybe in the bottom half of the league. But the trend in the last 5 years was that everybody now wants to join the Premier League, regardless of what team you are joining. You just want to be part of it because it's a great, it's the best league and it's a great experience for every player. So it doesn't matter if you are the player, the team coming as a winner of the championship or winning the playoff, and so anybody tips you to get down back after a year, but you still have international players, you have great players in your squad, so that's what makes it a harder every year for everything.
Can you just tell us a little bit about your interests away from the pitch? Obviously everybody knows you as a footballer, but what do you like to do in your downtime and how do you relax?
Well, I relax by being active, because I just can't kind of waste any minute. It's just you know, when you feel tired, you just sit down and just chill. But this is not really me. So I do a lot of, obviously, the family and my kids. That's the main priority. But when I have time, I do all sorts of things like you know, playing drums, playing ice hockey, like you know, working on different things, even at home. You know, I used to have the tennis table robots shooting at me and catching the balls and all these things, just you know, filling the time. So there's a lot of things. I like playing golf. I don't have time for it, but occasionally when I have a chance to, you know, to catch up with my friends and have a round of golf, I enjoy it as well.
And what would you say is the best thing about being a footballer, especially in London?
The best thing of being a footballer is basically the freedom you have. You know, in a way that basically you get paid the way you get paid. So in a way you have your free hand, so you can use it the way you want. If you have time to travel, if you have time to you know, to get things you couldn't as a kid, you can. So that's probably, this freedom is the best. And obviously the fact that you do what you always wanted to do, and it makes basically becoming a professional footballer in this top league. It was one of my dreams I wanted to achieve, and the dream came true. So the game through. So this is the best part of it.
And what would you say is the most challenging part about being a footballer?
Well, the most challenging part of being footballer is that you have a great game and everybody expects you to do it every day. And then you know, you need to be always working and you need to always deliver. That's the challenging part, because you need to, you know, everybody, there are thousands or millions of people watching you every game. And obviously, you know that everybody will say, oh, I should have saved that, I should have done this better, I know it's not good, and just changing, whatever it is. So you fight with that every day. You just say, hey, you don't give them a chance to say that. So that's challenging part, obviously, that you are a public kind of person. When everybody knows you, everybody can kind of get you.
And just before we wrap up, just wanted to speak about some of your career highlights. Is there a particular game that really stands out for you in your career as your favourite game to have played in?
Well, there are a few games, obviously. You always remember when my first game with the national team. One of these things. I became the European champion with the team under 21 Czech team, which was really kind of unexpected. And we did it, so you always remember these games. Champions League finals. So you remember any final. If you play big game finals, then you remember all these games. So that's why you play the football for, and it's the ultimate thing.
Is there a particular save that you can remember? I'm sure you've made thousands in your career, but is there one that really sticks out in your head?
Well, I don't like to pick one, because all my saves actually made my career the way it is. So you never know, if one was not there, maybe my career would have looked different. So I don't like to just select one. Obviously there are some more important than others, but for me they are all important.
And being at Arsenal and being at Chelsea, you've trained with some of the best strikers in the world. Is there a particular striker that sticks out in your head as like when you're playing against this person, you know you've got to be at your top level?
Well, I had the privilege, and I was lucky to have played with so many fantastic players. And you know, with some of them, is it like a real challenge, because their skills and the way what they can do, you know, to deceive you in the training, are big. So you need to make sure that you're always on your toes. But obviously, I would pick Drogba as one of them, because I played with him the longest time, and it was a real challenge. He's a top player and top guy. It's very difficult when actually mentioning Santi, playing against Santi is a challenge because he's really cheeky in a way what he does, so he never know what he's gonna come up to. So this is, but there are plenty, as I said, over the 12 years we would be into the one.
That's brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, Petr Cech.